Hey YouTube, in this video I'm back with another Gear Chronicle deck profile. This time I'm going to be focusing on my Time Leap based Gear Chronicle deck. So last time we did the defensive style and its stride deck, so this time we're going to be doing the other one. So the main difference here is the emphasis on Time Leap plays, and we kind of compensate for the lack of bouncing the opponent's stuff from the stride deck by changing up the stride deck. So let's get right into it. So 4 Chrono Jet Dragon, alternate art from the second trial deck. Doesn't really matter which one, they do the same thing. But yeah, Chrono Jet's still the best way to go when it comes to Gear Chronicle decks. The backup grade 3 is Reform Calling Gear Eagle because it has Time Leap in the name. And it's pretty good with Time Leap cards because it can potentially search 2 of them, call 2 of them, call 2 of them. No, it adds them to the hand. So it adds 2 Time Leap cards to your hand. So you want to run a lot of Time Leap cards like him, so he can potentially search. If you check, what is it, top 5? No, top 10. Wow, it's top 10. So search top 10, look for things with Time Leap. This thing has Time Leap in the name, so you can search these. They can be used as stride enablers and stuff like that, so it's really good. So for grade 2s, instead of Amber, I run 4 History Maker Dragon. History Maker Dragon basically makes sure all your Time Leap plays go off. In addition to that, it has Time Leap in the name, so it works with Gear Eagle's search ability. Next, 2 Clockfencer Dragon, new RRR grade 2 with the Time Leap ability. So it's a very simple effect. When it's placed on R from your hand, you get to choose one of your other regards and Time Leap it. So it does what he does, only it doesn't have to counterblast, and it's when he's called. So we don't run that many of it because it has to be played from the hand. But it's just in here to increase the number of Time Leap units. Next, 2 Steam Maiden Mariana. So Mariana is in here. She is basically like Upstream Dragon. Upstream is arguably better than her. The nice thing about her is that she doesn't leave the field. Unlike Upstream, when she attacks, basically when she's placed on R, it can be from your hand, it can be from the deck. That's what I like about her. Very flexible. She becomes 13k until the end of the turn. So with an 8k behind her, that's going to be 21. She doesn't leave the field, so you have her as a Time Leap target for Clockfencer or History Maker, so you can essentially Time Leap her to a grade 3, and so you get like an 11k Chrono Jet on the field to attack or something like that. So you get extra attacks. So that's why I like her compared to... I like her in Time Leap based decks more than Upstream for that reason. Now Upstream does replace himself with a grade 1, so you can Time Leap back up to grade 2. But I just like that she can stay on the field. She can swing for 13 with her boot plus her booster. And then at the end of the phase, if you can't like Time Leap anything else, she can stay on the field, so she can be used as an interceptor compared to Upstream, which leaves the field, so you're 1 less interceptor, so you have less defense in that regard. So it's just really personal preference. Next, 2 Steam Knight Lougle. So he's a new card from set 5. Essentially he has a GB1 when he's placed on R. You can counterblast 1, he becomes 11k, and then when he attacks a Vanguard, the opponent cannot use grade 0. So he basically is a 9k Silent Tom that swings 11 with the Silent Tom effect. So that's pretty decent. Time Leap can basically upgrade your 1s to him or stuff like that. So only needs 2 copies. Next, 1 Steam Maiden Balulu. This is just a personal tech choice. Again, a new card from set 5. It's in here to draw cards. So when it's placed in the bind zone, you can counterblast 1 to draw 1 card. So this is a good Time Leap target. To help you draw cards. So because it's an 8k, you do have to keep that in mind. You have to run like appropriate grade 1s for that reason. Speaking of grade 1s, I'm running 4 Steam Maiden Sanilar. So this is the normal perfect guard that can block, can protect rear guards. This deck is not that counterblast heavy compared to the other one, although it can tend to use a lot of counterblast. Now that I added Lougle, I'm still running 4 of the History Maker, and then of course Chrono Jet's on stride skill uses counterblast. So but 4 of her because the other deck is using the Arlims. 2 Steam Breath Dragon, just Stride Enabler, so I split them, divided them between the 2. And 2 is really enough, because you'll stride a lot in here. 2 Melem, so my 2 other Melems, I have a playset of her. She was really easy to get, for some reason, compared to Upstream. But yeah, so 2 in this deck, 2 in the other deck, so she's just a good card that works with Clock Fencer and History Maker. Next, 3 of an interesting card choice. I am running with 3 Steam Maiden Danish. This is really good because this deck does not have a lot of ways of disrupting the opponent's field compared to the other Gear Chronicle deck. So this is just a card that can help you disrupt the opponent's field, and it's a good time leap target. When it gets called from the deck, the opponent it doesn't have to be placed from the hand to do its effect compared to Time Break Dragon and Clock Fencer Dragon. So essentially what it does is it time leaps the opponent's field sort of down, so it downgrades their field. So like if you call her GB1, either call her from hand or call her from deck via time leap. You choose an opponent's grade 2 or whatever, and then they have to put it back in the deck, and then they search for a grade 1 and call that. So you can get rid of interceptors, like it's really good at getting rid of Twin Sword, or it's also good at getting rid of like grade 1s for Sanctuary Guard, make them grade 0 or something, make them like lose triggers. So it's kind of like that sort of card that keeps poking out either triggers from the opponent's deck or getting rid of interceptors. Next, I'm running 2 Steam Battler Lougle, AK Vanilla, mainly because of Mariana swinging for 13. This is just a really good budget line strategy, and this was available from the trial deck, these cards. So 21 to the Vanguard is pretty good. And last but not least, 1 Steam Skara Gigi, just for that Gigi play, because it doesn't happen as often, but this deck doesn't use any Soul Blast, so you can use it in here regardless of whether you're time leaping into it or not. For the trigger lineup, I am actually trying out the stand trigger in here, so I am running the 4 Steam Battler Watar. This is actually not that good with time leap because you tend to move your field around a lot, so you don't have proper like strong rearguard columns and stuff. But this with Lougle is on the turn that he has his 11k is actually really good. If you swing him first, they can't use 0, and then if you stand him, he can swing again, and they just can't use 0. So that's pretty good. But yeah, this is also in here because when this is put in the bind zone, so if you have this on the field, you can bind it. If you're time leaping, you draw 2 cards and choose a card from your hand, return to the deck. So this has like draw power built in. So that's the reason why we don't need to run the draw triggers. I can potentially just run this as well. Run this in addition to my 1 copy of Balulu. So this is how I draw with this deck. And GG, of course. And then it's just 8 criticals and 4 heals. So this time I am running the new heal from the trial deck. I forgot to put it in last time. And the starter that I'm actually trying out this time, now I was running Chrono Dran in here, but I do want to try TikTok Worker for a while. Because I have so much time leap stuff in here, he can potentially time leap when a rearguard attacked. So he can, you know, get Lougle in, he can get Mariana in, all kinds of stuff. So it's just interesting to get some additional attacks in. So trying him out in here is this is my more experimental build compared to the other Gear Chronicle deck. So I figured why not. For the Stride deck, it is a little bit different from the other one, with some only really like 2 cards are different. So still running Metallica Phoenix and the Chronos Command Dragon. So again, if you're on Chrono Jet Dragon, this is usually the best first stride. If you're on Gear Eagle, you may want to stride this first, because I'm running this guy. So 2 Interdimensional Dragon Chronos Command Revolution. So this is in here if your field, because this is a time leap deck, it tends to have like a lot of open rearguard circles. So this isn't too detrimental to your field, and it can really mess up the opponents. So it does address the issue that this deck has where, with the exception of only like Chrono Jet's on-stride skill, and also Danish, sort of, although this doesn't really minus the opponent, this and him like make up for the lack of field disruption on the opponent's side of the field. So that's why we have this play. Next, 1 Fate Rider Dragon, 1 Fiery March Colossus. Fiery March Colossus, really good at basically making the opponent not be able to perfect guard, so it's pretty good play. And then Ragnarok Dragon, just because it's the inverse of this guy, sort of. So, Fate Rider is in here because he's a good late game stride, after you've already gone through a lot of these other stuff. So, that's basically it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of my Time Leap focused Gear Chronicle deck, and how you would potentially run the stride lineup, if you want to run it differently or not. So, as always guys, looking forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.